Power and privilege is the knowledge, skills, and awareness of cultural differences and similarities amongst all individuals. Privilege can be earned or unearned. Linguistic class privilege, upper class privilege, and street privilege are privileges I was born into without a say. By accepting my power and privileges, I know that I will be meeting people of different privileges and powers that will impact my life somehow. Since we acquire the language or languages that will likely come to the language of our thoughts and our identities from the world around us as children, we have very little control over which language and languages that might be. In a world where all languages were treated equal, this would not be a big deal. But unfortunately, we come from a privilege that is mostly spoken in one dominant language. Linguistic privilege relates to my language and literacy experience and development by being able to speak only one solid language, and that included having tests and homework done in my primary language. By being able to speak more than one language for the classroom, it allows me to communicate with a student or parent in their native language if they are uncomfortable speaking in English. It is important for me to work against my linguistic privilege because it shows not all of my students can speak the same language, but they all come from different linguistic backgrounds that will create a new classroom culture in their linguistics background. Upper class privilege relates to my language and literacy experience in development by providing myself with educational schooling and college level experience by allowing me to strive for my goals, and it also allows me to have a safe environment to live with my family. By living in that safe environment or neighborhood, I have never had to worry about drugs, prostitution, or gangs. People did not assume that I was unintelligent or lazy because of my upper class privilege. People aren't surprised that I am intelligent, hardworking, and honest because of that upper class privilege. It is important for me to work against that upper class privilege because my students will come from all different cultural backgrounds that are different than mine by creating an open classroom environment that is safe, fun, and, of course, educational. It allows my students to get a feeling for themselves and who they are becoming. Straight privilege relates to my language and literacy experience and development by being guaranteed to find people of my sexuality orientation represented in my workplace. I do not have the fear of relieving my sexual orientation to my friends or family. It is assumed. Straight privilege relates to my language and literacy experience and development by accepting my students for who they are and not judging them for who they assume to be. If they have a different straight privilege than me, I would not judge them because they are different, but I would accept them for who they are and ask them how I could understand their privilege more. Since I was born into these three privileges, I will be more accepting of other privileges that are not my own, and not assume everyone is like me. Since we were all created by the same God, who has given us each of our own talents and differences, which make us all unique, we need to celebrate our uniqueness by understanding each other's power and privilege, even if they aren't our same. We need to look at that outer lens of the photograph that we are missing.